But here's the most interesting part to me about this Russian imperialism that is very different than most imperialism that I've looked into. When the Russians would find a tribe or a people or a culture that was very different than theirs because they were so far from home, they first tried to negotiate with them and convince them to join the Russian Empire. If people resisted, it got very predictable imperialism very quickly. But a lot of tribes didn't resist, and they found it beneficial to be a part of this growing empire. So this empire grew without a lot of conflict, and in the process, enveloping a lot of cultures that sort of kept their identity, their language, their culture far, far away from Moscow. Because of this, Russia today is, yes, this huge landmass, but perhaps a better way to look at it is this. Russia today is divided into 85 territories. 22 of these territories are actually called republics. They have their own official language, their own legislature, and basically are totally independent from Russia, except for in international affairs. It's like 22 countries within a country, all with their own unique style. So yeah, while Russia is this, there's also other versions of Russia, and I want to show you some of those. Stop one, let's look at the Republic of Sakha. It's located way in the east, and it's huge, 3.1 million square kilometers, massive. This place is in a time zone 6 hours ahead of Moscow. The people here don't look like Putin at all. Their ancestors are not from the original Moscow, Russia area, and they speak their own Northern Siberian Turkic language as well. The capital of this Russian Republic is way up here. It's called Yakutsk. It's the coldest large city on Earth, with an average temperature of -8 degrees centigrade. And this whole region is full of these giant holes. In these holes, they're looking for diamonds. 25% of the world's diamonds are mined in this republic. So yeah, this is Russia. Next stop down here is Dagestan, which borders the countries of Azerbaijan and Georgia. The climate here is so different than what I think of when I think of Russia. It is hot and dry, and people here speak 13 different official languages besides Russian. Plus, there's a bunch of unofficial languages. And 83% of the people here identify as Muslim, which again, like, I don't think of Muslims in Russia, but this is Russia. It's right next to Chechnya, which is another part of Russia, which is politically and culturally very much doing its own thing. The people here declared independence in the 90s, which caused rebel groups to militarize, and then there was war and terrorist attacks, and people died, and Putin may or may not have planned a bombing to frame Chechnyan terrorists to then go to war with them so he could get approval ratings so he could take over the country, become an authoritarian leader. No, wait, no, I'm not going down the freaking rabbit hole. I'm doing one of those fun geography videos where we talk about cultural diversity and like borders and history, and not this stuff. Come on, just this once. Can I just go into a video without having to talk about the fact that some people are really terrible? Anyway, so Dagestan down here has all these different languages and people so different than what I think about when I think of Russia. Plus, I mean, look at this fashion culture. Okay, so there's a republic here right on these mountains that we talked about that were sort of a good natural border but had a big hole in them, the Ural Mountains. This is the Komi Republic. The main thing about this republic is it doesn't look like the sort of ice-swept Moscow streets that I'm used to of Russia. This place is known for its natural beauty, beautiful landscapes, and where the gulags were, the brutal Russian prisons during the Soviet times, where they would do terrible things. Anyway, there's these beautiful rock formations that are super unique, and people aren't supposed to climb on them because there's some legend and it's bad luck, but of course, foreigners show up and do stupid things and they couldn't resist, and here they are. Anyway, this is Russia. Okay, a couple more. You have this Republic of Kalmykia. You just need to look at this place and its people to know that this feels very different than what you think of as Russia. And yet, this is Russia. Mother Russia has been sort of brutal to these people over the years, trying to erase their culture, but even still, they persist. The last one I want to talk about is called Tuva. It's down here. Here's Putin visiting Tuva a while back. This is another place where Russian ethnicity and language is a minority. The people here are more related to the Mongols, and they speak a Turkic language called Tuvan, which sounds like this. So yeah, the upshot here is that this is Russia, but so is this, and this, and this, and this. Russia got really big as they were searching for a border and for fur, and they just kept expanding their empire, enveloping all of the people and cultures that came with it. Okay, let me just be clear about something. Russia is giant. This video is not 15 hours long. And so I was able to give a very brief overview of the history. The history is so much more mind-bendingly complicated. It's like Game of Thrones on steroids. Not to mention, today's Russia is also so much more diverse, like a mosaic of cultures and languages that I was able to give a little overview for. But I know that a lot of you watching are thinking, why isn't he mentioning fill in the blank? I want to hear from you, like what are the parts of Russia that you know about that I didn't mention here, that are the most interesting or the most surprising, that are more different from the Russia that we sort of think of? Let me know in the comments. I got fascinated with Russia as we did the Navalny video a while back, and I'm now becoming deeper and deeper into this place and where it came from and what it looks like today. I've never visited and I want to, so maybe I can't though because I did that Navalny video and they'll be angry at me if I go there. Anyway, hadn't thought about that.